Whew. I feel like every single time I do a video, I have to take a deep breath. Every single video, it's just a TGIF. Happy Friday. Welcome back to my channel. If you're a regular, hi there. My name is Jahanita. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only woman that has gone through this, and today I do want to add a trigger warning because although I have a smile on my face, I purposely did not put on makeup today because I don't know what's gonna happen, but I didn't want to waste my makeup. You guys, Sephora makeup is not cheap. So I just rather not. It is now 9:05 in the morning. I got into the gym, did a 45-minute workout, and brought my little booty back home. Super excited that I was able to do that. And yeah, so we're gonna get right into today's topic. DNC loss and miscarriages. In the past, I have had 2 abortions, right? I had one in 2011 and I had another one in 2018. And then for my current relationship, of course, we were trying, and I ended up having a failed miscarriage. And then today we are 20 weeks and 1 day, and I'm just, just thankful and grateful as always. But we're gonna roll it back and start from when I found that I was pregnant in, I think it was in November or December. I'm not sure how the timing goes. I think it was December. So this one I will edit because I will add a clip of the video of when I announced to my partner that I was pregnant, because it was so cute, it was so exciting. I definitely enjoyed it. It was pre-planned, and this one's gonna be edited. So I found that I was pregnant, walked into the bathroom and took a pregnancy test, and I came back out and I was like, oh, I was right. My friend Ty was here visiting during her lunch break, and I was sitting with the pregnancy test at the table, just wondering, like, do I tell her? Do I not tell her? Like, how does this go? Like, I'm excited. Oh my God, we're actually pregnant. And I told her. She was super excited. She was the first person that knew that I was pregnant. Cool. So fast forward to week 5, right? My fiance, now babe at the time, had already knew I was pregnant, and I asked him, I was like, are you gonna tell my family? Like, we were on our way to a family event, and your Dominican family, they get excited over everything. So my family had this little thing going on where every time somebody walks into the house, we're like, hey, super excited, super hype, super cute. So every time someone was coming in, mind you, we're at the family event, every time somebody was coming in, they were doing that. So babe got there a little bit late, but they still did it anyway. So when he walked in, everybody was like, ah! And I walked up to him and I was like, are we telling them? I think I was 5 or 6 weeks at that point. I think it was 6 weeks. I was telling him. He was like, it's up to you. And I was like, all right, after they simmered down, I was like, estamos embarazados. And everybody looked at me like, huh? And some people were like, yay. And I was like, oh my God. They were like, wait, you're serious? I was like, yeah, we're pregnant. Oh my God, it was such an amazing moment. And it was just my aunt was asking my aunt Anita, she was like, how many weeks are you? Oh my God, I was like 5 or 6. I was like, it's so early on. And I felt like the shift in her body, because as a woman, you understand. Now I know, if you're telling me you're 6-7 weeks, I'm gonna look at you like, honey, you're not out of the woods yet. But I know that now. And even still, it's still an exciting time. So we did announce, and then a couple weeks later we had a Christmas party. Sorry, timing is off. So the Christmas party was first, and then the announcing was after, because at the Christmas party I did not tell my fiance that I was pregnant. Yeah, I forgot that part. I didn't tell him. So we were at the Christmas party, and he was trying to offer me alcohol, and I was like, I don't want to drink, I'm not in the mood, my stomach don't feel good. So I was drinking cranberry juice the whole night, and it was so rough. Like, I was like, oh my God, I need to tell him I'm pregnant. He was just like, why are you not drinking? It's open bar. I'm like, I'm not in the mood. He's like, you sure you all right? Because we drink. When we out, we have fun, we drink. I was like, yeah, I'm good. And then that's when the family event happened. Okay, so my timeline is off, but it's okay. At this point now, fast forward, everyone knows. So at 8 weeks, we're at our doctor's appointment, and I used to work at Morris Heights Health Center, and one thing that I appreciated is the connection that I have with the providers. Because I help them with their issues, they always help me with mine. So what the OBGYN slash midwives don't do at your first prenatal visit is stick the, did she stick the thing inside of me? I think she did. It was the stick where they put it inside you to see how the baby's doing. So she was doing that, and we was able to see the baby on camera, which was super cool on the screen. I'm sorry, it was so beautiful. I was like, oh my god, look, it's so tiny, and you just see it just moving around. So it was clearly alive at 8 weeks. So fast forward 2 weeks later, we're at our sonogram appointment. I'm 10 weeks. I went somewhere locally by my house. I understand the healthcare system, so I don't necessarily have to go to that same clinic to get an ultrasound. If I want to get something sooner, I can go somewhere else. So I go into the sonogram room. They tell me that my boyfriend can't go with me because of COVID, and because, you know, they're also women up and down naked, sometimes don't have a top on because they're doing x-rays too, so it's like a shared room, so he couldn't go in. So I'm like, that sucks, but okay. So I went in. As she's doing the sonogram, I had my phone in my hand, and she snatched it, and she was like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't record in here. But she literally snatched the phone out of my hand. And I was just like, damn, like, babe can't be here and I can't even record something. Like, this is trash. So I was just, you know, like, it's my first sonogram ever. I've never been pregnant in the sense of I'm pregnant, I want to keep it, so what do we do next? It was more of a, okay, what now? Like, you're doing the sonogram and I can't see anything. And I've done multiple sonograms after that. So when you do go get a transvaginal ultrasound, that's what it's called, a transvaginal ultrasound, the tech that is performing the task cannot discuss anything with you, as they are not a medical provider. So they report back to the provider, and the provider tells you what is happening. Some of them tell you, some of them don't, and I can understand. Me as a radiology technician, if your baby has deceased or has passed away, I don't want to be the one to deliver the bad news. I'm gonna leave that to the people that get paid X money to do that part. I wouldn't want to deal with that. So I woke out the room when it was done, you know, got dressed, walked out, and I went upstairs because the tech told me, oh, you know, a doctor is gonna come to you to tell you what the results are, blah blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we're sitting in the waiting room and we're waiting. 5-10 minutes pass. 5-10 minutes is too long for me. I work in the medical field. If you're sitting there more than 5 minutes and you haven't asked what is happening, you're wasting your time. So I got up and I asked them, I'm like, hey, I just did a ultrasound. Can I just get the paperwork and I'll just go over it with my doctor? They were like, yeah, sure, no problem, we'll print it out for you. So the front desk prints out the paper. I walk out. Now, me and my boyfriend at the time, he's my fiance now, we're walking back to my house and I'm reading the paper. And it said something about no yolk or no sac something detected. And I don't know, it just had me thinking, like, I don't know anything, but I'm like, that don't sound good. That does not sound good. And I remembered that at 8 weeks, like, we were at a pool and I had a little bit of spotting and I had a little bit of cramps. So my fiance's sister is an OBGYN, and we had this group chat, still do, on WhatsApp, and I reached out in there and I was like, hey, I think it was that same day or the day after. It might have been the same day. I reached out to her and I said, hey, these are my results from the sonogram, the ultrasound. Can you let me know what it says? Like, I'm waiting for the doctor. The doctor hasn't gotten back to me. I think it was the day after. And her heart broke. Like, she didn't know how to message me and let me know that the baby had passed away. And at the time, I'm very thick-skinned. At the time, when she messaged in there, she's like, oh, can you call me as soon as possible? And my boyfriend's like, he's reading the text and he's like, oh, my sister wants you to call her as soon as possible. I was like, oh yeah, it's probably because they didn't detect the yolk in the sac or something like that. And he looked at me like, so you know something is wrong and you're not saying anything? And I was just like, no, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm assuming something's wrong, but I don't know. Like, I'm not a doctor. So we call her, I put her on speaker, and she tells me that, you know, I need to have a D&C done. I need to take the baby out, that I had a miscarriage. And it was just, like, I froze. Like, thinking back, like, I froze. Because I didn't know how to react. So I had already had conversations with my fiance about this. Because I do a lot of, pardon my French, I do a lot of research. So I did give him a heads up and let him know, hey, you know, we're pregnant. And we can still miscarry. So, you know, just in case if anything happens, you're aware that just because I'm pregnant doesn't mean that's it, the baby's coming. No, complications can happen. So to me, it was the fact that I knew that it could happen and it was actually happening. It was just that was January 25th or 26th of 2022. I'm gonna go back in my records and I'm gonna get the dates just for my knowledge. But it was hard. And then it was like a shift of energy, because it's like we kind of knew what was happening, but then we kind of didn't want to accept it, but then we still had to do something about it. Like, adulting is fun. So we were here at home that, I think it was Tuesday, because I got the ultrasound done on Monday. Tuesday we were home, and by the end of my work shift, I told my fiance, I was like, we gotta go to the emergency room, because that's what his sister said, that we have to go to the emergency room. I also spoke to my OBGYN about it, and, you know, she said she was sorry and that I need to go to the emergency room to have a D&C done. I didn't know what the heck a D&C was. And I was like, okay. So I go to the emergency room, and in the emergency room, what they want to do is confirm that, you know, it is indeed a miscarriage. They don't want to just go in there and do a D&C and the baby was alive the whole time. So it was a long 6-7 hour emergency room visit. We got there around like 6 o'clock. I didn't leave there till like maybe 1-2 in the morning. My fiance did end up having to leave, and I think he went to work because they wouldn't let him into the emergency room. Because of COVID, it's only one person, not two. So they did blood work. They confirmed that I was pregnant because I still had the hormones inside of me. I think that's what it's called. And they did the transvaginal ultrasound, and they did determine that yes, that the fetus was measuring at 8 weeks and 4 days. I was 10 weeks at the time, which was discouraging because for me, I'm in the Facebook groups for the mamas that are doing December and mommies to be, that are doing August and mommies to be, and I'm like, some of these women are talking about how they've gone to get their ultrasound done, and the doctors have told them that they're much farther than what they thought they were. So I was 10 weeks hoping to hear, no, you're really 14 weeks or 16 weeks. Like, I was trying to be further along, and they actually told me I was 2 weeks behind in growth, meaning that at the 10-week mark, the baby had already miscarried at 8 weeks and 4 days. And that was around the time where I was feeling the cramps and the spotting. And when you are cramping and you are spotting, I learned to not take that lightly, from that one experience. So it's not it's just blood. It's just, no, go to your doctor. Something could be wrong, and if they can help you and they can save the baby, that would be amazing. But if they can't, they can't. But don't just go off of people on Facebook or people on Google. A lot of instructors that I've been listening to, they don't like Dr. Google. Dr. Google will have you thinking that you have the worst. It's just crazy. But from that experience, I learned not to take things lightly. That's one. I will also highlight that they did tell me that, you know, they weren't going to be able to do the D&C just yet because they had to schedule me an appointment, and they didn't know what time the appointment was going to be. It was already 2 o'clock in the morning, and I spoke to the nurse that was taking care of me, and she told me, she was like, I highly recommend that you go into the doctor's office and do a DNC. That way it'll be faster. But I didn't think to research it. So I was like, okay, cool. Next day, here I go walking into the doctor's for an appointment for a DNC. The doctor was, checking me, and she asked me, she was like, do you want me to perform the DNC now? Or do you want us to schedule you for the emergency room so they can sedate you? And all I was thinking in that moment was, get this baby out of me. Like, it's not even alive. It's just there. Like, I did not feel comfortable at all. I was so creeped out. And I had a conversation with my OBGYN doctor friend, Dr. Lisa, who said, I do have the option to let nature take its course, and it will eventually come out. I don't know what that process feel like, so I can't speak on that. I'm only here to speak on an in-office DNC, which is what I chose. And again, my fiance could not be in the room with me because of COVID. So I was in the room and I opted in for the in-office DNC, and she gave me 2 Tylenols and nothing for numbing. I mean, I didn't know what I was taking. I'm assuming it was Tylenol or acetaminophen or ibuprofen. I don't know. But I felt everything. She prepped me up to take the baby out, and my fiance was on FaceTime with me the whole time, and I had a conversation with a cousin of mine who told me she was about to go through the same predicament. And I promise you, like, when she told me that she was also going to opt in for the in-office DNC, I cried to her. No, do not do that. Do not ever do that. I don't want any woman to ever have to experience what I experienced. Like, you literally feel them. And again, this is a trigger warning, so if you want to stop and fast forward, you can definitely do that. I'll give you a moment for you to get to that button, because Lord, whew. So you literally feel everything. She opened up my vagina with a clamp, and she went in there, and I heard a mixture of suction and scraping. So I felt her scraping the inside of my uterus, just scraping the baby out. Apparently that's what it is. And she told me, if it starts to feel uncomfortable, or if you start to feel pain, or if you start to feel like you can't do this anymore, let us know. It was 3 women versus me. One was holding my hand, which was the, I'm assuming, midwife slash OBGYN. She was supervising the whole task, the whole procedure. And there was the one that was actually performing it, and then another person that was passing her whatever she needed. And I promise you that halfway through it, I wanted to call it quits. I was just, it was a traumatic experience for me, because I was just thinking about how our baby is literally being scraped out of me. And I will highlight this again, I would not want any woman to go through that. Like, I would rather you go to the emergency room, have them sedate you. I have had abortions in the past where I go to sleep, I wake up, it's over. And I really wish I would have went through that instead of what I went through, because that was tragic. And I'm teary-eyed about it, and I promise you guys I am okay and I'm happy in my pregnancy. However, I do want to highlight the importance of being aware and advocating for yourself, so that you know what is happening to your body. You're not just walking into an exam room and they're just doing whatever needs to be done to save you and the baby, but they don't have to deal with the trauma. They don't have to deal with the aftermath. They don't have to deal with the side effects. You do. So in that situation, after it was done, and even through it, like, I was screaming, like crazy. My fiance was on FaceTime. Like, I felt so bad that he had to hear me go through that, because us women, we go through menstrual cramps once a month, every month, and you guys know what cramps feel like. You guys know what it means to have that pain that is just and you just have to go through it, and then you know that it's gonna be over, but you're still going through it, so it's like you're coping. So in that moment, yes, that experience was tragic, but I did need to have a DNC. Unfortunately, I chose that route. That was my mistake, the route and option that we chose as a couple. We did not educate ourselves on what an in-office DNC consists of. Now we know. Now I'm advocating for that should never be done to no woman. None. No woman should have to go through that. That was traumatic. That was, oh Lord Jesus, that was a lot. Now we get out of the the clinic, and you know, cause I was just laying there for a little bit, like in shock, like just, it was over in less than like 5 minutes. Like, it was quick, but I had to go through it. It was really quick. They just went in, did what they had to do, made sure I was okay in the process, and it was over. It's a quick procedure. I walked out of there, came back home. My fiance and I sat in the car, you know, just having a conversation, because we did break down and cry in the emergency room the night prior. Like, it was just a lot, and we did talk. So I highly recommend that if you do decide to go through it, or you did go through it, find somebody that you can talk to and really have a conversation, just for reassurance, because all I needed was a conversation of everything is going to be okay. My OBGYN did say that, you know, we can try again when our body's ready. So whenever I see mamas that have gone through miscarriages, I advocate and say, it's okay, it's common, it happens, it is out of your control, and when you're ready, that is when you can try again. And I went with when my body is ready, because I felt like I'm invincible, I can overcome anything, I am not alone, we can do this. So it was a couple of days of, you know, just feeling like a little sad and just moping around, but still being optimistic at the end of the day. Like, I'm very thankful for my energy. I'm very thankful for my personality and so much love that I have to pour out, and super thankful for not giving up, because you guys, like, we are now 20 weeks. Hold on, because it's rotating. Let me turn this a little bit. We are 20 weeks and 1 day. Do y'all see this belly? Like, I feel like it just doubled in size within the past like 2-3 days. I don't know. Like, I promise y'all, this is as real and as raw as it gets. And if you are choosing to do a DNC, you have options. You have options. You have the option of letting nature take its course and just letting the baby come out when it's ready, when the body is ready. And for the DNC, you guys can do a sedation and have them put you to sleep. I do not recommend being up for the entire procedure, but you know what you can handle. So if this is okay and it's a walk in the park, then by all means, more power to you, go for it. But if you're not sure, I would not even risk it. I would never do that again. We did get pregnant again because we were trying. At first, it was a little scary having sex again. Like, it was just, I didn't know what to expect. But now, you know, we're okay. We don't got no problems in that department. I did tell my fiance, you know, I'm very fertile, so I'm gonna need you to be careful, because we gonna end up with 2 on the 2. So the second time that we got pregnant, it was not as exciting as the first, because I was scared. This baby has just as much of an impact in my life as the other one did. So we do have a little angel, and in the beginning it was just Like, I didn't know how to feel. Like, oh my god, we're pregnant. We were at Walmart. I was there with Kiana. We were running around buying stuff, and something told me, take a pregnancy test. So I went into the aisle, got a pregnancy test, and ran to the bathroom before we went out the register, and I peed on the stick, and I was like, I knew it. I was like 2 days late. I knew it. I FaceTimed my fiance right away, and I'm like, we're pregnant. Oh my god, it's so exciting. Kiana at the time was pregnant. She just recently gave birth. Her baby is, I think, 6 weeks now, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it was different. It was different. Once I passed the 10-week mark, I felt like that's where I started to feel like, okay, this is happening. Like, you know, this baby's strong, it's gonna make it. And when I had went in for my transvaginal sonogram at the emergency room when I was coming back from DR, because I felt sick and nauseous. The baby was 7 weeks. The baby was 7 weeks, and the guy told me, he's like, yeah, it has a strong heartbeat. Baby's good. You just have influenza A. That's it. You'll be fine. I'm like, all right, cool. So, do I need to join this meeting? I don't think so. I don't know. But it was an interesting transition. It is going to be an interesting transition, and it has been. I am very happy. We are very excited. We have a lot of plans for this baby and the babies to come, God willing, because I'm willing to have as many as God is willing to give me, honey. My mama has 6. We're gonna see how I feel after this baby. I think I gotta start scheduling my push party. I want that. That sounds like fun. But all in all, I just want to highlight that, you know, it's always great to do research before you make any final decisions. And I do that when it comes to health, fitness, finances. I'm on the internet looking for information, trying to figure out what's the best decision, how can I make the best decision. And if they cannot tell me what is, then that's when I need to now look internally and weigh my pros and my cons. Always do your research. That is what I can highlight. We're talking DNC, we're talking in-office DNC procedure. This is my story. And as much as I am thankful for this platform to be able to speak my experience, I know that everyone goes through everything differently. Just take that as well. We're all different, just living life and doing what we need to do to ensure that our peanut is fine, that our peanut is healthy, getting all of its nutrients, and we're getting ours as well. I finally found my baby aspirin. I just had it. Where'd I put it? I just had it. I just found my baby aspirin that I'm supposed to be taking before bed due to preeclampsia, but we're doing well. We're happy, which is what matters. And as usual, I'm gonna wrap it up for today. You guys got to see a little bit of the baby bump that I forgot to put in the last video. This weekend, I'm excited for this weekend because we're gonna be outside. Oh, it's gonna be great. Per usual, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Let your mamas know that DNCs happen, miscarriages happen, and the best thing you can have as a remedy is mental support. Have people around you that are going to help you with your mental. Read books, listen to YouTube resources when it comes to personal development. I listen to, what's the name, Lisa Nelson. I also listen to Bishop T.D. Jakes and a few others. I'll probably list them below just so that you guys have them. But I listen to some really good, thoughtful people. But this is it. This is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you watched all the way to the end, I really appreciate you. Thank you.